Hello, I'm Stephen Price. Welcome to the show. Today I'm in conversation with Bennett, Director of Programmes for Sky Entertainment UK and Ireland, and we're going to be talking about the world of pay TV. Hello, Zai, welcome, and thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
First of all, I thought I'd like to kick off with something quite specific. On Friday, October the 6th, Sky One is launching a new show, Sing Ultimate A Cappella, hosted by Kat Deely.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, I thought I had a feeling you might have seen it at the Radio Times. I think it's a part of your new Sky's new entertainment strategy. And what was intriguing me was how you would measure success. And I ask largely because this week at the RTS conference, Channel 5 also announced an entertainment strategy, and they had their target for success was 3 million viewers. Ambitious, but nothing wrong with ambition. But I was wondering, in the pay TV world, and for you in particular, what success would look like?
Well, success is very different for us in pay TV. So our subscribers pay us every month for our service, and what we have to give them is value for that subscription. So we also, obviously, we measure consumption and volume of viewing. So thousands of viewers, things like that. We in terms of that, we look at the total consumption of a show, not just the live overnight, which sort of the industry has been a bit addicted to reporting on. We look at it over a much longer period than that. But it's not just consumption; it's value for us as well. So, is that a customer's favourite show? What's their passion for it? We have a thing called a passion score, which we look at on a show-by-show basis.
Oh, okay.
Which tells us how loved a show is, and that's sort of. There's a bar there for each different genre, which is slightly different. We have individual channel measures for value, which is sort of top. We ask, is this one of your top 10 pay channels? And as a business, we look at whether our customers think that we have content worth paying for. So we have different metrics at a sort of service, channel, and program level. But Sing, for example, in the entertainment sphere, for us on Sky One, going back into entertainment, was about being talked about. So yes, we wanted to get a certain amount of viewers. Now, 1 million would be great. On Sky One in general, 1 million is great. But that's not the be-all and end-all for us.
No.
It's much more about someone saying, I loved that show. And also with Sing specifically and entertainment shows, it's about talking about it and recommending it.
Yeah, I see. So the overnights, as you know, I write a column for Broadcast where I talk about ratings, and there's sort of various aspects to it. But obviously, the day after a show goes out, the industry is delivered at 9:30 in the morning, a series of ratings, which used to be the absolute Bible of a performance of a show, and then you'd move on to the next day and forget about it. Now, with so many different ways of watching television, just in that measure, we know that we can wait for a week and we get what is called consolidated ratings, as you know, which is people who watch programmes within 7 days. But for you, you mentioned it just now, the overnights are of almost no importance, or some significance, or
we look at them. Sometimes they can be directional, sometimes they're not, but they're a part of the story. So, and I think in most broadcasters, I'm pretty sure all broadcasters look at least the consolidated number for a show. And what we're doing is we're looking at the consolidated cumulative, the 7-day cum. So in 7 days, how many people have watched it? For us, remember Sky, everyone's got a PVR in their house. So they can all record it really easily. Equally, over 70% of our customers have got their boxes connected to the internet, so they can just watch stuff on demand as well. Obviously, you have to decide what point you're going to cut off. Do you want to leave it 28 days, 2 months, 3 months? So,
10 years they watched it.
So what we've decided is that within 7 days, we're going to try to add up everyone who's watched something in 7 days. We're using Barb. It's the Barb metric. So we have got our own data as well, but we're not. That's not what we're not veering off that. We think that this is great for this. It just means you've got to wait a bit. So you've got to basically wait 2 weeks until after something's gone out, and then you get a real measure of what it's done. And then also, especially when you're looking at commissioning or recommissioning a series, you wait till the very end, the series average, and then all the value things I was talking about earlier about passion scores and verbatims and things that you've got back about them. You have to take all of that into account as well. The thing that it gets slightly trickier for us is on our Sky Atlantic channel, with our original dramas, quite often we issue those as a full series. So we'll put Tin Star, for example, or Riviera or Fortitude 2. At the point of transmission, we'll put the whole series up on demand. So our customers can then zoom through it as quickly as they want to, especially with these sort of heavily serialised dramas. They're quite bingeable. So we're sort of trying to give our customers, again, we always sort of give our customers the choice to watch it how they want to, because we've got loads of amazing tech at Sky, but that tech is just there to deliver this content, which is my bit of the business.
Yeah.
But the thing with Barb is Barb misses out the consumption of the sort of episode 2 to 10 of that. I don't know if it's a 10-part series.
Yeah.
So the episode 1 that's gone on linear, all the viewing goes back to that. Great.
Well, on linear, you just mean on television as it went out.
Yes. So if you show it on linear,
yeah,
all the viewing for Ep 1 is being caught by Barb.
Yeah.
But if we just put something on demand and there's no linear transmission of it on one of our channels,
right,
it doesn't get added up. So that's where that's missed out, and that's where we then use our own data on top to sort of complement and supplement what we get from Barb.
I see. And so I know you wrote an article in Broadcast Magazine this week about how you measure, and everything you've just said, that is try to capture viewing in many different ways in order to help you assess whether something is a hit or whether it's value for money. That's how it works. And would you ever publish that data?
So Barb is obviously, everyone has access to that, and that's the vast majority of what we're using.
Yes, I see.
And in terms of the consumption data of our own consumption data about the box set releases, so the full series, absolutely, we've said we're going to publish it for episode ones, for episode ones of a series when we do that, and also at the end of a series. Okay. Good or bad, doesn't matter. Okay. And we're trying to be very transparent about it, and we just we're happy to share that with people because but the thing that annoys us or can sometimes rankle us is we're looking at reports overnight. It's written by journalists. I'm not looking at you.
I am looking at you. But I'm not it's me. Rumbled.
Which say things like the ice has melted on Fortitude, or the roof's caved in on this. That was one of yours.
I would never use such a terrible pun.
When I look at my data and go, I know that this is as steady as a rock week on week on week. I don't understand that. And I know that it's because you guys didn't have the information, so we are sharing it, but it's at the appropriate time. And unfortunately, there's always going to be a hungry beast in journalism to feed, and that's the problem. But we're not going to engage with that, and hopefully people will just listen to us when we do give our stuff out.
Okay, I can feel a whole new column coming on, so I just...
Well, there you go.
Yeah? I see, everyone's a winner. So when you describing for yourself for Sky, and I guess extrapolate for the other pay TV broadcasters, the sort of measure of success isn't sort of instantaneous. So the Channel 5 thing about 3 million will know that really quickly. For you guys, there is much more going on. So who in that environment, who would you see as your major competitors? Because as an old-fashioned broadcaster, I suppose, sadly, Sing a cappella and the drama Jamestown on Sky One and Stella feel sort of aimed at sort of BBC ITV, whereas Tin Star, Riviera, Fortitude feel more targeted at Netflix. Is that a reasonable division, or do you just not see it in those terms at all?
Well, we don't target them like that because we don't target ourselves against other competitors. Yeah. Everyone's a competitor, especially pay TV. If anyone's selling a pay television video service, then they're a competitor with us.
Yeah.
But we're very specific, in what we do, and what is different across our different channels. So Sky One is a big, broad entertainment channel. What we've done on it though is we've really stripped back the amount of commissions we do and the genres we work in. We were doing lots and lots of different genres. We've taken it right back now. So we just do scripted and a bit of comedy and drama, entertainment, and US acquisitions.
Yeah.
So when anything we're making, we now make enough to be on all year round, because previously we're kind of coming on and going off, and it was a bit hard for viewers to get the hang of it. Equally, there is a difference because it's pay telly. We have to offer our customers something that is different to what they can get for free on terrestrial.
Yeah.
So I would Jamestown, I think is the best. Is it a bit ITV? Possibly. I'd say it's one of the. If it was on ITV, it would have been the best ITV dramas they'd have ever had.
I think so.
So one of our things is looking at our shows when we originate them. Are they the best of their kind, which I think Jamestown fits into?
Yeah.
Or are they the first of their kind? So on best of their kind, I'd say League of Their Own, for example, is you could take Question of Sport on the BBC.
Please do.
Please. We've looked at that and said, okay, if we're going to do a sports panel show, what do we do? Okay, we have James Corden at the centre of it. We have this whole host of amazing stars around the outside of it, and we do it in an 800 audience in a massive stadium with huge stunts and things in the middle of it. Yeah. So we add scale and ambition to it. So that's making the best of its kind.
And that would fall into the category of you don't get that, and you paying your subscription will get you that because you don't get that kind of show free to air.
Yeah, and I think Jamestown is the best of its kind. Equally, those are Sky One, because Sky One is a broader based channel, multi-genre channel. Yeah. The ones you're talking about are the ones that fit probably more easily, when you're talking about Amazon's and Netflix and most of the shows that they do, would be Sky Atlantic, where we originate high-end drama.
Yes.
So that's where we put all of our high-end drama.
Yeah.
So Tin Star, Riviera, Fortitude 2. The ambition with those, again, it's like, so if we, with Fortitude, we were thinking, we looked at making a sort of a horror show, and instead of just, it's got the best of British actors in it. It's also got Hollywood actors in it, and it's shot beautifully and amazingly, and it's the vistas are huge. The storyline is complex and weaving and adult and challenging, and it's all of those aspects that are different to what you would get on terrestrial television.
Yeah. So I suppose that's what I was meaning about. So that feels naturally like you are competing, if you're competing at all, with the Netflix of this world, Amazon, so who spend a small British independent film budget per episode of, say, The Crown, for example, because they sort of upscale in the same way. They've upscaled drama to cinematic levels. So that seems to. So you would. So you would put your Sky Atlantic in that. World?
Yeah, absolutely. We're in the. I mean, people have called it the drama arms race, and we're part of it. Look at who. We've got films. Tim Roth. Christina Hendricks, Idris Elba. We've got Benedict Cumberbatch is making one for us right now called Melrose, the Patrick Melrose novels. We've got the best in the world. That's a show we co-produce with Showtime. And we also have everything from Showtime and HBO as well. So the gold standard of drama is on Sky Atlantic. So we're definitely part of that.
Yes.
I mean, creatively, the competition there creatively means there are only so many great writers and directors. We're always looking for new ones, and we're trying to forge relationships, and it's having those relationships that our drama team and comedy teams have from the beginning of people's careers, or certainly are along with them, along for the journey, is slightly different to Amazon's and Netflix, because they they go and buy big people. We're there for, I think especially with the UK production industry, we're there from the beginning, and we're there for we're there from the beginning of an idea, literally a sentence, as opposed to necessarily going, oh, thanks for sending me this script with whoever it is in it. Thanks,
Mr. Hanks.
But we'll take one. We'll have one of those and two of those. Yeah. We're very much more involved in the development from the beginning, which I think is a slight difference. Is it competitive? Absolutely, it's hugely competitive, especially for these amazing people, because they can pick and choose what they want to do.
Yeah, and I suppose that's a good thing creatively for you as a creative leader. You need. I suppose competitive is one thing, because that will drive the price up. However, to have 10 years ago, I remember drama being in the doldrums. You and I will both remember, before the financial crash, at the financial crash, where nobody wanted to do drama because it just wasn't making any money, and fewer people were watching it. And now it's epic. The dramas, led by HBO's Game of Thrones, which
that is a feature film every episode.
Every episode,
and it's $15 million plus an episode or something. Yeah, it's insane. Yeah.
Absolutely ginormous. And I don't know. The chicken and egg situation, but which would have come first? The sort of because Downton Abbey on ITV sort of showed, oh, actually, we can do this, and I don't know whether it was that, but it was like a trigger that sort of set in motion the ambition for drama. And I don't know whether you could draw a line from Game of Thrones back to Downton Abbey. It would be quite funny to see the butler and Downton Abbey wielding a sword in a Game of Thrones, but since everybody's been in a Game of Thrones, it's probably just a matter of time.
I don't think Hugh Bonneville has yet. So
well, maybe we could do that. But so I suppose the idea is that the upscaling of drama has meant a whole new creative challenge, both in terms of costs, but also in terms of making sure you get the right talent.
Absolutely, yeah. It's fiercely competitive, but it's not just about spending money. No. It's about the right idea at the right time.
Yeah.
And also making sure, when I look at each of our individual channels, I'm looking at the emotional range each one of those has got. And I don't want everything on Atlantic to feel like it's super male and visceral and violent. When I first joined, actually, I bought The Affair, which was a Showtime show. We didn't have the Showtime output deal then, and it was put on purpose because we really wanted to have something that felt a little bit more female, but also a relationship, a very smart, adult, grown-up, compelling relationship show.
Yes.
And I think pushing the breadth of what Atlantic did was important at that time.
Yeah, and also Big Little Lies. Sorry,
HBO. A huge hit for HBO. Great for us. Yeah. Very talked about. Again, another one of the big things for us that is something that's talked about and recommended. So it's about finding the right shows. But again, Big Little Lies has got superstar A-grade Hollywood people in it.
I'd heard of most of them.
Yeah, a few of them. Yeah. But that's the way. That is the way of some of these things. But equally, people are do like in those mixes, it's always, when I'm talking to our drama team about who we're casting, we like having a mix. Okay, there'll be some absolute top flight names in there, but there'll be gems in there for people to discover, to learn to love. It can't just always be Tom Hanks. And that's it. You've got to try to. People like discovering new things.
Yeah, there are only so many Tom Hankses.
That's our job as a curator and a finder of these things.
Yeah.
And especially writing and directing, and how these people grow and get bigger and better.
Yeah. So your point of difference really with Netflix and Amazon is that you have more of an organic approach to it, and that you will start earlier in people's careers and grow them.
We are closer to development in terms of the way that, and it's a longer process, I think, for us.
Yeah.
Also, we're happy to take risks on people, but it's different for our different channels. Our channels are much more closely honed. I don't look at their services and think, oh, it's for this sort of person. I honestly don't know. But I look at ours and I know this is designed for this Sky customer is this sort of Atlantic's a little bit older, a little bit more upmarket. Sky One's a little bit more blue collar and 24 to 54. And I know there's the tone that I'm looking for on both. Yeah. Whereas I find it harder to look across the competition.
It's interesting actually when you navigate through Sky One, for example. If you have a Sky system, it's 106 on the Sky EPG, but that's sort of set out as a traditional kind of looking channel. But I'm sure there are others, but I never think of Sky Atlantic in that way. I think of it as titles, and I guess that's a different approach to viewing television.
I think I think of them as both as a group of titles. I just think that maybe there's probably a bigger range to the ones on Sky One. We're about to relaunch Sky One. We're about to put a big marketing campaign behind it. It'll have a whole new on-air branding. It's going to launch about 20 odd new shows because we want it to feel a little bit more grown up. My point from the beginning is about our metrics of success is that we have to have people's favourite shows. Unlike terrestrial, where you and I know well, when we used to work on them, you're filling this slot, then this slot, and maximising this, and you're doing a bit of a sort of 3D chess game around the schedule. Our teams absolutely do that as well, so they maximise the schedule as much as they can. But the main aim for us is to go, okay, do we have enough shows that our customers will sit there and go, out of those 4 of those shows this year were my favourite.
Yeah. So you're trying to tap into an emotion as much as a
absolutely a passion. They have to have a passion. If these shows create a reaction, it's not I don't think our shows are ever designed. They're not there just to fill the schedule. They are tentpole events that we get behind and we market, and hopefully people can't miss it when we get behind something like Riviera. You shouldn't be able to miss that. Tin Star should have been everywhere.
You'll find it somehow. So what's quite interesting about all this is that sort of technology is driving a significant creative change in the way that programs are made and the way they're distributed, I guess. And would you, just as your sort of watching TV hat on as a sort of punter in your sort of pyjamas on a Sunday, the idea of connected TVs, where more and more people are buying them now, they're all massive, they've all got 4K screen quality, but as the broadband infrastructure in this country sort of improves, do you think that having a big TV with connected directly to the broadband will change the way people watch television, or do you really think it's already happening?
We're already there. Smart TVs, lots of people have got them. There's not this new magic thing. All of our customers with Sky have got this amazing piece of kit. If they've got a cue box, they can search for something on the remote and just say into the voice. It finds it for you. These are amazing pieces of tech. It's great, isn't it?
Well, it doesn't seem to understand me. I don't know what's going on. I'm just shouting at it.
Exactly, just shouting. Paw Patrol.
Yeah. It's between you and me, so I shush now.
I don't think the technology changes the way you make telly, though. I think or it has UHD, 4K, things like this. Obviously, those change the way you make it. But it's about storytelling and great storytellers, and that's the essence of what me and my team do. Then the amazing products that we come up with and the different smart TVs and other ways of people getting it are just different ways of them consuming that.
Access.
The biggest change would be that you have a lot more there to consume straight away. That's true right now. Everyone who's got Sky and they've got their connected Sky box has got all of our on-demand services, box sets sitting there.
Yeah.
You know, Cinema Sport. There's oodles of stuff just sitting there ready to be watched straight away. And more often than not, the thing that has informed was that we changed this release mechanism for dramas. So where we decided on Sky Atlantic to put them all at once because we knew people wanted to. So for Tin Star, for example, which went out at the beginning of September, within 2 weeks, 500,000 people had watched all 10. You know, and that's going some.
What do these people not go out?
People don't. Anecdotally, people were telling me I watched 5 on Saturday of it.
Yeah.
You know, but people equally with Riviera, the series before that, was still doing 400,000 as a live number by episode 10.
Yeah.
So there was a group of customers who wanted to watch it weekly and quite liked watching it like that.
Yeah.
So for us, it's about giving choice. But I think it needs to be choice in the right way, and we have a sort of bespoke attitude to it.
Yeah.
You know, if a comedy entertainment show, I'm not sure why anyone would need to binge on that. So we don't do that with those. But
storytelling. And do you think, as you were describing that, it was you know, as a budding writer myself, it's sort of. Do you think it's changed the way? So whilst technology hasn't changed it creatively necessarily, do you think it's changed the way dramas are written? If in the olden days you'd write a 6-part drama that was on once a week and only once a week over 6 weeks, and you would write, and if you had commercial breaks in it, you'd write it so there was a climax every sort of 10 or 15 minutes, so people would come back after the commercial break. In this world we're describing, somebody could literally watch the entire series in a day, uninterrupted by adverts or anything. Would that change the way it's written? Different
writers and directors have they have different styles and different ways of doing it. So John Logan, who did Penny Dreadful for us, very much wrote a series as though it was a film.
Yeah.
And then it was about how to make that into TV, because it needs some of those other elements when you assume people will be watching it in hour chunks.
Yeah.
So therefore you want to have, you know, is it a 3-act structure? Is it what, you know? Do you always leave a hooky end?
Yeah.
There's various things that are, you know, very, very obvious. But the thing that's attracting filmmakers to TV is the opportunity to tell us a story over 10 hours or more. Yeah. And I think the ones who are brilliant at it manage to achieve both those things. So they do leave you at the end of that hour satisfied I've seen something, but desperate for more.
Wanting more.
Yeah, and they do hit you with the right beats. You know, if it was just a 10-hour film, I think, you know, you might end up with some episodes that could, you know, there's chunks of it that are a bit dull. And some series have. You know, I've watched them. They felt like that sometimes.
Yeah, it can happen.
But
muddle in the middle.
You want the best of both worlds. You know, you get that. That's what the opportunity we're giving them is that canvas to go and play with that kind of resource that they're used to in sort of the mid-level feature film world of, you know, which is a lot higher than it ever used to be.
It's quite interesting actually, because a 10-hour film. It feels like inconceivable.
Why would I watch that?
What on earth's going on? But
I watched all of Game of Thrones today. It feels perfectly fine.
Yeah, and yet a 2.5-hour movie in the cinema can feel way ttoo long because for lots of reasons. So it's obviously there's a knack in the writing anyway, but also there's a mentality of the viewer, whoever that is, and under what circumstances they are, to accept a different kind of menu for their viewing, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially, you know, if they know it's also the great thing is they know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
Okay, there's 10 of this, or there's 6. Oh, this is or you know, what state of mind are they in at that time?
Yeah.
Oh, it's only a 4-part miniseries. I'll do that this week. That's great.
As an expectation of.
Yeah, I'll watch that because it's a 2-parter, and I'll know that I'll commit this much to it.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you mean? There's 22 eps of? Oh, maybe it's not for me. But then that's why a lot of American 22 episodes shows are often story of the week driven.
Of course. Otherwise, because people wouldn't necessarily stick with the whole thing. Interesting. Thank you, Zai. It's all really very interesting, and I want to pin you down now at the final question. And we're not allowed to mention a Sky TV programme. Yes, you can. What's your favourite show, and what have you enjoyed on TV in the last year or two?
Well, I wouldn't say. I can tell what I'm enjoying right now is we're watching Bake Off. It's very easy for myself and my wife to watch. Shared viewing is important in our household. We don't. If the telly's on, we both have to want to watch it. Yeah. Also, not watching homework is important for me. Often watching British stuff can feel like homework.
I bet it
so
is.
We do gravitate at home to relax, watch American stuff a bit more.
Yeah.
We watched Tin Star. That is a Sky program which we zoomed through, and my wife zoomed and loved it, which is brilliant because I'd already seen it, so I watched it twice.
Oh, okay.
But I think think right now, Bake Off's the one that sort of dominates in our household.
Yeah. Okay, it's interesting. And, there's one thing that we'll be talking about. We haven't actually mentioned sport at all. I was just going to mention it in terms of... I was talking to somebody the other day, and then we were talking about darts, and I can't believe darts is still on television, but there it was, and I found myself watching. I
love a bit of darts.
Oh, who loves a little bit of bully? Pardon me.
Well, yeah, I was talking to Carl Pilkington the other day, and Bullseye is his favourite show on television. Really? Yes. Yeah, he told me, we were talking about binge box setting then.
Yes.
He told me he stays up watching 6 episodes of Bully on Challenge because he's just desperate to see who's won. That's his version of binge viewing.
Binge
watching
like
the
Bullseye.
Sky Atlantic stuff. No, I'm a Bully man. And that is absolutely true.
Stuff True Detective. I'm going to watch Bullseye.
I'm glad he's making a show for me on Sky One.
Tremendous. Well, thank you, Zai, very much for taking the time to talk to us today about that. It was really, really interesting. And thank you for watching. And until next time, goodbye.